NBA draft talk, recruiting rankings, a former Marquette star now, once again going vintage on everybody in the NBA playoffs. All that and more on Big East Shootaround. Jay Alter, John Fanta with you from New York City. And partner, we just keep on forging ahead. We knew that this summer would be big because the NBA draft conversation, it's fired up.
Well, we got a lot of seniors. We were a senior-heavy league, and they are looking to make the transition now to the next level. A couple younger guys, some have declared with an agent, some have not. It's a lot to talk about. I'll tell you what, we were putting together this show this week with our producers. You know, you think off-season, not a lot to talk about. Not the case. This is a loaded show. I mean, it feels like we're right in the thick of it.
You just talked about those seniors. We've got them right now. They were in the Portsmouth Invitational tournament this past weekend, and they provided top plays for us, so let's start with that.
Andrew Rousey, who came off a hot streak in San Antonio. He was in the three-point shootout, 3-on-3 competition. This time showing off the passing skills, the assist on the slam.
Sweet dish and the fake, even more pretty than that. Number 4, the Brooklyn boy himself in Portsmouth. Kadeem Carrington, silky smooth, cool as the other side of the pillow on this crossover step back, checking in at number 4.
Carrington's teammate, Desi Rodriguez, also in Portsmouth. Woo! Putting on a clinic, and then the 3.
That's Marcus Foster checking in at number 3. As we turn to number 2, it's Andrew Rousey. Again, beating the buzzer. Rowdy Rousey at number 2. What a shot.
Last time we let John cut top plays, Angel Delgado running the floor. How about this slam in transition? Woo! The big fella showing he can run. All these guys have a chance to certainly make a summer league team and make some noise. And Andrew Rousey, and there's Desi Rodriguez putting up big numbers, making the all-tournament team.
That's right, those guys shining. Rodriguez doing big-time things. Rousey as well. They both were outstanding. It'll be interesting to see these guys going forward here, where they end up as we turn to our fast break. And we start with Jay Wright continuing his championship tour, making a friend in Pontifex, Pope Francis.
Has anybody had a better 2 weeks than Jay Wright? You win a national championship, all the success, and then you go and meet the Pope. But being a Catholic and Villanova being a Catholic university just really does not get a bigger and better honor than that.
No, that is outstanding. And Father Peter Donahue heading out there with Villanova donors, and Jay Wright getting the invite as well. Really cool scene here as he makes a new friend, and you see the Pope's smile there.
Yeah.
It sums it up as the Wildcats taking home their second national title in 3 years. And speaking of that other national championship team, the debate, it seems like it's going to last the whole offseason. It's a storyline.
It is. Jalen Brunson taking to Twitter to say, all right, Villanova fans, which team would win, 2016 or 2018? And at the Villanova parade, we asked the head coach, Jay Wright, what he thought, which team would win in a game.
Jay, if the 2016 team played the 2018 team, what would the result of that game be?
Don't think they don't talk about that, you know, and
85 team.
And guys like Phil Booth and Mikhail, who are on both teams, they have a really interesting perspective on that. As a matter of fact, Phil Booth said, and he might be right, that he thought the 16 team was more fundamentally sound and the 18 team was more talented. He might be right about that.
What do you think, 2016 or 2018?
Well, playing a role on that 2016 team were Phil Booth as well as Jalen Brunson. And I look at it, and Jalen Brunson can be argued as the best player in Villanova history, and he's this 2018 team's point guard. On top of that, I think the complementary pieces overall are better. And it may be hard to believe, but that's the truth of the matter here. On top of that, Omari Spellman is a better player than Daniel Oshefu. Oshefu's Mr. Fundamental. He was a very solid player on both ends of the floor, but Spellman gives me more in terms of his multi-dimensional talent. He could stretch the floor from deep. He was so explosive inside for Villanova. I mean, what he did against West Virginia in spurts was incredible on this run. So I give the 2018 team the slight talent edge, I think that they would get the win. But 2016, like Jay Wright said, they did all the little things to an incredible level. It helps also that the 2018 team dominated their competition the way they did. And recency always plays a part in these debates, but I go 2018.
They left no doubts. And I will say, Chris Jenkins, we talked to at the Villanova parade, obviously the hero from that 2016 team. He goes, 2018 may be a little flashier, maybe has more talent, but when the teacher plays the student, the teacher usually wins. That's what Jenkins said. I'm sure Josh Hart and Ryan Arcidiacono would agree with that analysis.
It's a tough debate. I give the edge to the 2018 team. I think it's fascinating that Pascal reminds me of Jenkins and just the way that they play the game. So it's funny how things work and how Jay Wright has been able to mirror things with these two teams. That's why there's a debate in the first place. As we turn to recruiting rankings.
Well, that's certainly what we're going to talk about a lot in this offseason as these Big East teams try and reload and rebuild a senior class that they lose that was certainly the best in the country. Villanova, no surprise, checking in the top 10. And then we both really love what Ed Cooley is bringing to Friartown come next fall.
David Duke and A.J. Reeves, AAU teammates, and now they're going to be together in Friartown. This is a huge boost to Providence's backcourt. Losing Kyron Cartwright and Jalen Lindsay, you need good replacements. These are just the guys. And Ed Cooley is building something special in Friartown. 5 straight NCAA tournaments is really good, but they may just be getting started here with the kind of backcourt they have coming in. And Creighton losing Marcus Foster and potentially losing Kyrie Thomas, they are raving about Marcus Zagorowski. Greg McDermott thinks that that's his point guard of the future.
And one thing I'll just mention about the recruiting rankings is they absolutely do not take into account transfer players, which Butler, Xavier, and St. John's have many impact transfers that you will see next fall that don't show up on a freshman class recruiting ranking. So just because more teams aren't in that top 40 does not mean that the Big East isn't reloading with another talented crop of new players coming into the conference.
We're going to get to that deeper into the show when we have our mailbag segment. We turn to the NBA playoffs, and before we get to a former Marquette star doing big-time things, Alex Barlow, you remember him? He went to Butler. Well, he was coached by Brad Stevens, and now he's kind of getting coached again. He's the associate head coach for the Maine Red Claws, a G League team. He was playing point because that's how thin the Celtics are.
Yeah, well, a lot of injuries, and Barlow with his season over has stepped right in. Obviously, you mentioned the Brad Stevens connection. He still got it, by the way. That's a dime.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is very swift and cool for Barlow to be sort of getting coached by his former coach again, his former Butler coach. Here it is, man. D-Wade showed out in Philly to even the series the other night.
So good. Just watch him. I could watch it forever.
Yep.
Obviously, got it done at Marquette and has just been a force in this league, the future Hall of Famer. This, the clutch play of the night to win the game for the Heat.
He showed that experience matters in the playoffs, and it's going to be fascinating to see this Heat-Sixers series as it goes deeper. But 28 points, 11 and 16 from the field, too. It was vintage D-Wade. He still has that cold-blooded gene. And now the Sixers, they're going to get tested here. This young team, how do they respond? And be out for Game 3. This is the most fascinating first-round series, in my opinion.
We've got a Cleveland Cavaliers fan with us on set. Come on, you gave away D-Wade.
Yeah, could have used him. Could have used him last night. Could have used him in Game 1. I agree. It didn't work out in Cleveland, but it's cool to see him go back to Miami where he'll end his career. I don't know if it'll be this year or next year, but man, he went vintage. This NBA postseason, we're in round 1, and it's already provided tons of drama. I'm fascinated to see what goes ahead because I think a lot of people were proclaiming the Sixers to be that potential hot team to beat. Well, Miami's got something to say about that. Credit to Eric Spoelstra and what he's done with this team, especially on the defensive end.
A lot of people thought the playoffs probably wouldn't have much interest. You think Warriors, Sixers, probably LeBron and the Cavs. Early on, blow it all up because there is a lot left in this NBA playoffs, and we'll continue to follow our Big East guys as they get it done at the next level.
Let's get to, you said, drawing enough interest. This draws more than enough interest. It's what you've all been waiting for all week. The 2017-18 season in Big East Hoops was nothing short of outstanding, providing tons of onions. Here's the best of the best, our season mini-movie.
Little matchup. Carrington drive, right hand, got it.
Kyron Cartwright, career high 15 assists. Answer off the back of the iron. Jorgensen with the rebound.
On those threes, oh my goodness.
Now he is feeling it. And that is it. Number one goes down here in Indianapolis.
With 4 fouls, Howard on high.
Unconscious 45 points.
Yeah, Howard stepping back.
50 points for Marcus Howard.
Come on.
Slips on through 52.
Oh, goodness.
Got it. Let it three
By Jesse. It's the 2-on-1. Here's the line. Wow! One punch man.
inside 10. Kane on the fadeaway. It hits again.
To begin the game, Delgado's got the rebound. He has the all-time Big East Conference game record. Congrats to the big guy.
Pons, 5 to shoot. Lets it fly. Oh! Simon up ahead to Clark. Nobody back. Clark in the foul. And it's over. St. John's. They shut the nation. Back door, Bridges. Nice catch. Oh! Woo! That's why they like him. Gooden finds Blewett for a deep three. He hits it again.
Oh, this JP's world, and we're all just living in it today.
Bullock to the hole. Oh! Providence.
The Creighton Blue Jays get that much-needed signature win.
And that is a big basket because he now has 2,000 points for his career.
Gooden drives in behind the back, feeds O'Mara for the slam.
The Xavier Musketeers are the outright Big East champions.
The Big East tournament. Johns 1-9 from the three-point line. Oh, what a jam! Baldwin up. Oh, two-star, tipped up, and in. Cartwright, the spin, hanging. Oh! Quick dribble to the bucket, and Compton. Straight up. We are ready for the Big East Championship. Cartwright a three. Yeah! And here we go. 60 up at the end of regulation. Big time Bridges. Blocked from behind by Bridges. Stolen by Brunson. Exclamation point. The Villanova Wildcats are the top cats of the Big East.
What a great team we witnessed in this tournament, and tonight the Nova Nation has another national championship.
A school record 36 wins in a single season, and 24 months later, back in the great state of Texas, Cats win it all, Cats win it all, Cats win it all again!
Great job by our Ujosh Patel, who absolutely crushed it on that season recap video.
Oh, you just took the words out of my mouth. Josh Patel, he does it all year for us, and once again, putting together, and that's tough to do. You get all that footage of a whole year and you condense it in just the best of the best, and the Big East delivered, once again, so many great moments to look back in this past season.
Let's look ahead now. We just looked back on the season. Well, where are guys going to head? A lot of storylines to get to with the NBA draft. Guys declaring with, without an agent. There was just news today with Dante DiVincenzo, but we begin with Kyrie Thomas from Creighton. Here's the full rundown, though, before we get to that. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, we expected them to declare with an agent.
Both guys getting their degrees from Villanova. That is important to Jay Wright and that staff. They check that box. They declare with an agent after winning 2 national championships in just 3 years. And then their teammates, that's what Villanova fans want to know. Dante DiVincenzo announcing today, Amari Spellman a few days ago. These are the 2 guys that Villanova fans want back, but if they get the feedback that they're going to be in that first round, you would not fault those guys for keeping their name in the draft.
Not at all. Those guys have more than earned their stripes this past season. Kyrie Thomas from Creighton, he has an interesting case. Projections have him being a potential first-round draft pick, and it's likely in a lot of people's projections that this is a kid that is going to get drafted this summer with a first-round pick and has great potential to be in the NBA. His stock took, I would say, the biggest rise throughout the season. It just kept on picking up steam.
It did, and you look at a guy who's a definite two-way player, and that'll translate to the NBA. And I just think that Kyrie Thomas, he's got a decision to make. That's up to the young man and his family. But if you want to just talk about skills on the basketball court, he is ready to take that next step at the NBA. We saw that consistency throughout him all season on both sides of the floor. People say, maybe the offense isn't there for the NBA. I don't think so. I think he has the ability right now. If he decides to come back, though, what a boost for the Blue Jays.
Here is Kyrie Thomas on the decision that he has to make.
You've seen teammates of yours go through this process the last couple of years. Has that helped you out, and what kind of feedback have they given?
Exactly. A bunch of them say, just take my time, and it's really about me, not so much about everyone else saying go or stay. It's really about me taking my time. So I'm kind of embracing that. I've been talking to a bunch of the older guys who've been in the same position, and what questions to ask certain people, and I've been asking them certain questions as well.
Yeah, who teammates you reaching out to?
I spoke to Justin a few times.
Yeah.
I've talked to Austin Chapman, Justin Carter, Anthony Tolliver, a little bit of Doug. So a bunch of older Creighton guys. Not Justin, but a bunch of the older Creighton guys and stuff like that. And they've been telling me just to embrace it, be smart about my decision, and when I know the time is right and stuff like that, and just take my time.
That's very helpful, and that just shows the alumni base of a program. Doug McDermott we knew about, but Creighton's getting types of recruits that can be NBA draft selections. We just saw it with Justin Patton last summer, so that's a great sounding board for Kyrie.
And that was a decision that was really tough for Justin Patton to make. Remember, he did not, the season didn't end one day later and he put his name into the draft, and it's a very similar process for Kyrie Thomas right now. He will get the feedback. All these guys, it's a great system that we now have to help make that transition. Go. Get the feedback, see what people say, and then you know what? If you want to return to school and get some more experience, work your way towards a degree, that's great. If you think you can be in that first round, get paid, go for it.
He's so explosive, and he could guard anyone in college basketball as well as any talent. That is for sure. As we turn to the Villanova Wildcats, who have decisions to make.
Right, Amari Spellman we knew about, but today, Dante DiVincenzo putting his name into the NBA draft without an agent. I'll ask you, if you're a Villanova fan sitting there, these guys are fresh off a national championship, but you so desperately want Dante back after he delivered the best performance of his career in the national championship. If you're a Nova fan, what are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking, you got to understand Dante DiVincenzo and Amari Spellman, what they're doing. It is these kids' decision, and they should be capitalizing on the stock that has risen over the course of the NCAA tournament. Look, I didn't think that Dante DiVincenzo would be declaring without an agent before the NCAA tournament started, but his stock rose. And Jay, on the grandest stage in college basketball, he rose to the occasion. The national championship game, he showed all the weapons that he has. Look at that pass right there to Spellman and the finish by Spellman. There's no question these two talents need to be taking advantage of the hype behind them right now, of where they are positioned as players, seeing where they could fall in the NBA draft. That's what this process is all about. That's why they made this process, to test the waters and be able to come back. So I completely understand, if I'm a Villanova fan, what these two guys have done for the program, and the fact that they are looking ahead towards their future and trying to make the best decision for that.
And people who say, hey, Spellman, he only played 1 year. He's been at the school for 2. He's been learning, getting better. And Jay Wright said it perfectly in his tweet. This kid has really taken to coaching. And you know what? Good for him that he's gotten himself to this level in just 1 year of playing.
No question about it. That's the thing is, I think that Omari has some things that he just has to iron out, but all the intangibles are there. All the explosiveness is everything you could ask for.
There's a tweet I just referenced, it's the intelligence and willingness to be coached that allowed him to make great strides last season. You could say that about Dante DiVincenzo as well. And both of those guys, hey, it's a win-win. As far as I look at it, it is an absolute win-win for both the Villanova guys and Kyrie Thomas with the decision they'll make in the upcoming month.
It says everything you need to know about Villanova and how they've taken off as a program since the reconfiguration of the Big East, that they could have potentially 4 guys enter the NBA draft in a season. You know that whole adage of, well, Villanova doesn't have NBA players, that's been said before.
Right.
You can no longer say that, and Jay Wright continues to build that in a unique way, not with just one and dones, but with guys who get it done in college basketball and that NBA teams want.
It's pretty sick to think about. If these 2 guys do declare, hypothetically, Villanova could have 4 guys taken in the NBA draft. You know, again, that erases that stigma that the Wildcats have had this dynasty without NBA talent. No, they would have 4 guys getting selected in the NBA draft. Just speaks to the level of talent that Jay Wright has cultivated there in Philadelphia.
Mailbag coming up to wrap the show. What was your favorite feature from the season?
It was tough. We were going back and forth, and we decided the most fun we had was with 2 St. John's guys, Justin Simon, Marvin Clark, a little basketball karaoke.
But before we get to that karaoke, we've got a dunk karaoke of sorts from Big East Hoops. They like Tom Cruise.
I love Tom Cruise.
You love Tom Cruise. Why do you like Tom Cruise?
I don't know, man. He's just, I mean, he's a little guy, but you know, he does his own stunts. His movies are blockbusters. I love Mission Impossible, Last Samurai. I love, like, I can go on.
You like Tom Cruise.
Top Gun. I can go on.
You like Will Smith.
Yeah.
I think we could be in a Hitch remake.
Oh, I see it. I see it. The 2 of you.
You're a mess. But yeah, hey, we get something, you know what I'm saying?
You know,
I got Kevin James and me.
All right, let's get into it. We're at the court. Do some basketball karaoke. So we're gonna put you guys on the spot. All right, you got to do your best impression. So Justin, I want to start out. Imitate this guy. Imitate Marvin Clark.
Imitate Marvin?
What do you got?
I'm coming down here, full head of steam.
Oh boy.
Coming left hand. Right there.
Except it's going in.
Yeah,
this is my left hand.
It's that touch, bro.
That's the go-to. Y'all gotta watch out for that.
I mean, I could do just.
All right, let's see it.
Just as gained this a couple times, you know, with his pull-up jumper. You know, he comes off a little hezzy, raises up, bucket. He can do Russ.
Okay, Russ first.
That 2 foot through the lane is crazy.
Come here. Easy. Woo! Something light. Little blow by.
Marvin, you spent some time in Michigan State. Says Draymond Green. You call him Big Bro. Can you give me a little Draymond impression in the paint?
In the paint?
Come on.
And one! Every layup is and one! Get the leg kick.
Every layup.
Get the kick.
Order, bro. I ain't gonna do that to me, bro. I can't do that to me, bro.
Now, Coach Mullen squared off with Kevin Durant.
I can give you some mullet.
You
He got coach jumper now.
Coach, hey, don't embarrass me when they make you do me. Here you go. Face.
What's got game face?
I seen the KD shootout and I quoted it. Coach keep it ratty on me.
And you guys said you talked about how he gets engaged with practice. How exactly does he do that?
Man, he's hands-on. He's passing you the ball. He'll set you the pick.
Just to have him as your coach, and same with Mitch. Like, they're very hands-on working. Mitch. Not too many people have that on their staff.
Yeah,
we use that to our advantage.
And when I say they're hands-on, they'll guard you. Like like we doing one-on-one drills. They'll hop in and guard
Mitch
you.
Mitch is in like he was in Jordan. Yeah, come on, dog.
I love those guys.
So much fun. I was saying that, John, we got to have them back.
Yeah.
Both of those guys back for the Red Storm. There's so many more NBA guys they could go after, and they're always up for it. The basketball karaoke, so much fun.
They added plenty of great character to the St. John's program. They'll be very, very vital for the Red Storm next year. Experience and leadership for that roster that is needed.
A lot of people wondering next year. Really,
Yes.
It's such a quick turnaround. Okay, that season's over. We're focused on next Big East season.
You know it.
So we'll open up the mailbag as questions sent in here to the Big East Shootaround. First one we go to Anonymous Eagle. Marquette. How about this? Opening in their brand new arena against UMBC. Of course, the first 16 seed to beat a 1 seed in NCAA tournament. Big deal or little deal?
Big deal, because the new arena is going to be open. I've seen some pictures of it and was at the Bradley Center during the season. You can't miss the new arena being built. And then on top of that, to be welcoming in Ryan Odom's Retrievers for the opener, you know there's going to be people that are paying attention to that game. College basketball in November can be tough with college football still going on. So you need good non-conference games. That's why the Gavitt tip-off games are so great. But you also want to schedule interesting non-conference opponents. UMBC is definitely one of them. People are always going to remember the Retrievers. It's a huge part of their brand now. 50 years from now, people will remember UMBC, the first 16. Who knows, maybe the only 16 to ever beat a 1.
This guy was there.
Big deal.
John Fanta was in the building because you were there covering Creighton and Providence down in Charlotte, and he got to see the history made as Ryan Odom and UMBC beat Virginia. I'm stunned Ryan Odom is still coaching the Retrievers. That's a non-Big East hot take for me today. I thought, you see this all the time. You make some noise. We saw Andy Enfield, Florida Gulf Coast, parlays it into a job at USC. Good for Ryan Odom. He's trying to build something there in Baltimore County.
What else do we got?
All right, question number 2. People wondering, here's Blake, the Blue Jays next year. With and without Kyrie, I feel like they'll be better than people think. Agree, disagree? What do you think of Blake's take?
I think that Creighton will definitely be better than people think. And the reason why I say that is because everybody is going to go ahead and write them off without Foster and Thomas, probably put them in the back half of the Big East. They're going to be competing right in the middle of this conference, and here's why. Their front court, Greg McDermott's got a unique situation. We always know Creighton for their guards, but I want to see the duo of Martin Crumple and Jacob Epperson. Crumple's going to be coming off an ACL tear, so we'll see how his recovery goes. I checked in with Creighton people this week. They said everything seems to be going smoothly with that. But Greg McDermott runs the pick and roll better than anybody in the Big East. He's got 2 guys that can do it off the roll with Crumple and Epperson. On top of that, you've got a good rising sophomore class. Just how big of a leap they take is very important for Creighton. It's going to tell the story. Mitch Ballock, Tyshawn Alexander, Davion Mintz. I think the biggest thing with Creighton is, Jay, the Blue Jays have a lot of guys that are complementary pieces.
Right.
So who can step up and be that star? This recruiting class, though, top 40, that's going to be another key to the puzzle.
Well, I think we always see a big leap, as you just said, from freshman to sophomore year. So maybe one of those guys is able to get that star power role. Remember, Justin Patton, he was a nobody coming into his season. All right, you heard it here first. Jacob Epperson, he's the guy. Breaking news for some Big East offseason news, Seton Hall has made an addition to their coaching staff.
Tony Skinn, the former Louisiana Tech assistant. He was also on George Mason's Final Four team. He is going to be the Pirates' new assistant coach. For Kevin Willard will be in charge of recruiting, a big hire for the Pirates, as John Rothstein reporting that just about a half hour ago.
And that was very important because Shaheen Holloway, that was a big loss for the Pirates staff. He was so influential in their recruiting and the way they do things there in South Orange. So hopefully Tony Skinn, obviously big shoes to fill, but has an opportunity to come in and make an impact.
Final mailbag question coming from a Butler fan talking about the new conference. And Mr. Alter, I want to see what you think of this one. Big East has been a top 3 league every year. And he is correct. Ken Pom says that, and Matt Norlander said it. Will we be able to accomplish that next year based on the current rosters, my friend?
So this will be the biggest challenge for the league since realignment, but I absolutely believe they are still a top 3 league in the NCAA. And you look at the coaching, and yes, we lost Chris Mack to Louisville, but the coaches, Ed Cooley, Jay Wright, everybody, even Patrick Ewing, they will make their team better some way, somehow. They will find ways to take a leap, and I think it'll be evident in non-conference play. We've got a lot of teams playing in tough tournaments early. They're starting to be announced this week, and you'll continue to see it. I think the Big East will make an imprint in non-conference play, as they always do. It'll carry through the conference, and folks, I think you still see 5, 6, maybe 7 teams in the NCAA tournament next year, probably around that 5 or 6 number, though.
Okay, so Villanova will be at the top of the league. We do know that going into next season. But then let's look at beyond that for just a moment. Xavier and Butler, they both have established a standard here, as well as Providence. Those 3 teams are all rocks for the NCAA tournament. But here's my thing, Jay. I think that this is a 5 or 6 bid league again. I really do.
Well, it is.
The key element, yeah, absolutely. The key element is next season, because of the amount of stars that are lost from the conference, maybe in the national landscape, the Big East Hoops fans there, people might not be saying that it's a top 3 league, but I'm saying this. How much does that mean when you get to the dance floor? The next step that the conference needs to take is NCAA tournament results, and that's why I don't care top 2, top 3, top 4, top 5. The fact of the matter is this: the Big East has a place at the table every year in the regular season. The next step is about getting NCAA tournament results, and those programs realize that, and that will be the key.
Patrick Ewing in Georgetown, Steve Wojciechowski in Marquette. I think those are 2 programs that you are going to see take big leaps and fight for the top 5 in this league. I just really like what they have coming back. And so those are 2 teams that, did not make the NCAA tournament that I think will be knocking on the NCAA tournament door come next season.
One point that needs to be made here is we've talked about Georgetown, St. John's making the climb. Then you're talking about teams getting unseeded. So Butler, Xavier, Providence have all established themselves in the top half of this league. And so you would have to talk about dethroning them and putting them back in the 6th or 7th range. Yeah, in the final day of the regular season, 3-6 in this conference has been very tight, even 3-7. But teams have shown, Butler, Xavier primarily, and Providence has been right there in the middle. It's very difficult to take them down. Seton Hall as well. Now, it looks like they'll take a step back, but how big will it be? We don't know.
We don't know. And I'll say this. People that are worried that, the Big East may lose its top 3, as you said, top 4, top 5, whatever, don't be worried. Seriously, these programs are so well established. They've got good coaches. They will coach these kids up, and you will not see a difference. I know we lost a lot of talent. Believe me, it was one of the best senior classes in all of college basketball.
But now you can recruit.
I'm telling you, these kids will be prepared come next basketball season. The Big East will be just fine.
We ran a little late for you, but we wanted to set the case there with the mailbag. He's Jay Alter. I'm John Fanta. Enjoy your weekend, Big East Hoops fans. We got you covered throughout the offseason. Follow us on Twitter at Big East NBB. So long from New York City.